So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live pupils, and I'm working in Artrage 4, which this is the demo version because I haven't got round to buying the real version, but I think this is quite a nice one for colouring in. It's very easy to use, it's very user friendly, so I quite like that. So I've been working in the Badger Girl, and unfortunately I didn't press it was on default microphone, so it was on the laptop, which happened to be at the other side of the desk, and it didn't pick up a lot of voice, but it picked up everything else, and so it's a really bad sound. But it did actually record quite well this particular painting. So I'm going to try and put some music over it if I can't do a voiceover. But I really love working in here. Now this is a little Ugee. I can probably tip it up like that maybe. I can't actually see what I'm doing, so hopefully I'm back in frame. I'm watching myself on a laptop as if I was watching somebody else. So I'm just going to check. There's obviously a lag, so I have to wait to see about lighting. Oh, that's what I want to do. Turn the light up. That would be better. Sorry about that. That should be a lot better now. But I do love this. I do love this system. It's very, very simple. Your colours are here, your colour page is here, and you can put in anything you want. I'm actually going to get rid of this one so you hide the reference, and I don't need it now. I'm just doing the jeans and the background. Oops, come on. That's better. So I have a little sampler that you can put out, and what I do is every time I use a colour I tap it there, because like the pastel pencils I have here, my memory is pants, and there are also thousands of combinations in this corner here. So what I tend to do is if I'm using a colour I'll tap it and I'll find half a dozen blues or pinks. Like I've done here, I've found quite a few blues for the trousers, and then I'm going to use them. So I've only done this top corner pocket. I have the little, here is a little system, and it says it's the canvas positioner, which you just literally scroll it around and it moves, and you enlarge it by tapping the plus or the minus. And then when you want to go back to original, you press the top little square, and then you can just come down to wherever you want to be. And I really love this. If you're not well, it's a wonderful way to colour. And you can use airbrush, all sorts of things that are thousands of pounds that you can't really get your hands on. And I have it set up like this, really simply. There's lots of other things you can do with it, but this is what I use for colouring. So what I've done here is I've selected a dark purpley blue, and I've actually gone over everything again. So it's not a quick process. I think it's taken me about 4 or 5 hours so far. It is definitely not a quick process, but I've really enjoyed making these highlights. I normally work at 300, and then reactivating all these highlights again. I get a colour across. I've done something slightly different this time that I've not done before, and used metallic for the sword, and it's given it kind of a futuristic look, which I quite like. So the buckles look 3D because they are a metallic. So I can't see, I can only see chat normally, I think. Let me just see if I can, yeah. chat is actually working, so I do apologise. I just I was just quite desperate to finish this particular thing off. So what I've done is, see again the belt. This belt is a bit darker than the other side, but I really like that. So I turn it round so that it's at and move it so my hand almost never moves. Everything comes to this position, so it's easy for me. And you can just slide this across. You can hold it like this, or you can hold it like this, whichever's easiest, just sliding gently across. You have to work out a little bit, and again I could do with maybe a little bit more highlight on here, because that highlight's obviously going to be brighter than this, is going to be brighter than that. I think that's chain. I'm not sure what that actually is, but I'm going to do it. I might do it brown metallic. Let me have a look. Let's see if we can do that tan and make that metallic. But it's brilliant to play with, because again you can play, instead of photocopying something and spending hours, you can play and then just take it off if you don't like it. So if I do that, I've lost all definition, so I don't like that. One big tap and it's gone. Oops. So I'm just going to have a quick look. I can't work out what it is. I think it's some kind of weapon. Is it the shield for the sword? It is possibly a shield for the sword. So is it going to be, again, that look like stitches? So this particular image is from Bennett Klein's, I think this is characters, this one. Hi, welcome to Bunny's Designs. I can't see, I can only see normal chat, if that makes sense. I can only see chats that's there, so hope there's Karen B and DRD Mom, welcome to Bunny's Designs, and BM Lilf. Anybody else? I'm having to use chat on a little tiny laptop, so apologies, but if you've got any questions, pop them in caps. So I'm working in this, I think this looks like a tan, but I want to do it a different coloured brown, I think, so I might just go a bit darker. So I'll finish this bit off and then we'll do the blue. I don't like the metallic, I don't think, so I'm going to take the metallic off. So everything is fairly easy to use, and it still takes quite a while. It's not really a cheat's way of doing it if you think it's going to be quick. And I mean, you can do it, you can draw around it and tap fill and it'll fill it to flat colour. If you want that kind of thing, that you can do exactly what you want. You can do it as easy. I just kind of keep going across, like building up a little bit of colour. I might not put too much of a highlight on this one. Most of the times I use about 3 colours and blend. It will smear the black lined drawing. It takes it, unless you can build with layers and do all sorts of things you want, but I love kind of blending out some of that dark and making it more into a drawing, into a painting, sorry. And what I'm using in Artrage is the marker pens, and I've got a setting for a blender marker, and I'm using the blending marker. There's a soft marker, so you've got about 5 or 6 different markers as well, so it's all quite nice, and I'm using mine almost like a brush, like a damp brush. Oops, it's gone to 29. Why has it gone to 29 now? Must have changed. So I have mine on 1%, and then I just kind of put a little bit of colour on and get some semblance of order, and then I can go back in with a darker pen, and then I can go back in with a highlight. Just do what you normally do with a pastel or a pencil. Get a flat colour down. Sometimes I use 3 colours, but this particular thing here I'm not. But for all the other, I've used 3 colours. A main colour tan, and then a pale and a dark. And then you just kind of blend through like this, and then you kind of just get rid of that. That's the darkest, so if we came here that would be a bit lighter, a bit warmer, maybe just to go in between. And then that looks kind of okay. And then on top you're going to have another highlight, so you can turn it so it's comfortable. I think actually it's better that way for me. And you're just stroking this on glass. I do have a screensaver on here, which is better. Oh dear, what's happened there? Oh, I've frozen. I've got an ad and I'm frozen, but hopefully that's not for everybody. I'll keep going because it's recording. So thanks for stopping in. This is a live stream. I'm having a little bit of a problem because, as you can probably hear, one fan that is a Windows 10 and it has the best quality picture for recording. I'm using it because I've got the tablet attached to it. The other 2 that I normally record from, one records brilliantly, but it is very noisy, and I had a complaint about the fan. So I tried to fix that, and in doing so, I completely lost the sound quality. So hopefully this is going to be okay. And this afternoon hubby's going to buy me a new desk. It's like a little stand, but it has a fan on it and it keeps it warm. Now this one never normally gets warm, so I'm not sure why it's doing this, although it's actually as cool as the cucumber, but I've never heard the fan go before. So it's obviously one of those things. But of course we do have more central heating on today, so maybe laptops don't like central heating, do they, if they don't want to be warm? So apologies for all the kind of but I hope you get a little bit of interesting video that's not so unbearable to watch. And I do appreciate all my YouTubers, and I have now 500 plus, which I am so thrilled that people want to listen to me normally with good sound. When I recorded my videos, I made sure that they were perfect. I took out 100 barks and coughs and everything else. But when you stream live, it used to take me hours to upload to Ustream. Literally, it would take hours to upload a video. So my thought was to stream live, and people then can ask you questions. And but when you stream live, you can't record in HD. Well, you can, but you have to pay for it, which is a shame, but you know, that's what it is. So your videos are jerky, and they're kind of a little pixelated sometimes, and Ustream doesn't work sometimes, and then the light flashes out, and you know, a streamer's lot is not always a happy one. It's not always a happy one. Oh, I have to remember to keep my thumb out of the way as well. Sorry. So the beauty of me doing this is I can actually just kind of slide this across. Oops, you see. Whoops, I dropped that. I can actually manage to kind of, I must have done another one there at some point. So if I return her to her original position and zoom down, we can see if that looks okay. So I'm actually going to put a highlight on this glove before I forget. And we'll, so I actually want to put, and I was quite impressed with this Ugee, because when you push down exactly where the pen touches, you can see there's a little tiny bit of a difference, but you know, what you do is you don't look at the end of the pen tip, you look at the little if you want to get right to the edge, you look at the little cursor, which is probably about, if you look above it, it's exactly, if you look at the side, it's probably about 3 millimeters away. I can live with 3 millimeters. I can get some more warmth on there. And then take that almost to a complete, and then we want the very pale one. I'm not sure about the yellow. I think the white one actually is better. So this means all my highlights are all the same, because the leather will be the same leather, it's just the light is hitting it in a different place. So I just need to just stroke a little bit more of a highlight on there. So when we turn that round, we can tell that that is definitely in front of that. And I can tap some dark and kind of go in here with some kind of really dark now. So I've been in there with the normal colour, I've put a little bit of a highlight in there, and now I'm kind of going under again with some dark. But I'm really darkening this up under here because I don't really want it to be that light under there. And again here, this is going to be quite dark. Actually, I think I like that one better. And then I've just got to go back one because I just went over that line. And it took so much more. So apologies, but this is so much better for me than sitting. Sorry for myself, which is what I was doing yesterday. And you can get some quite nice effects on this as well. So if I turn her around to the right side, and then you can see that's kind of building up quite some nice shadow down there. So I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight on the other side. I'm trying to remember that it is kind of a different leather. And if you make a complete, I don't really like this, but let's see if I can rescue it. If not, I can take it off and start again. But sometimes things look, I did actually quite like that little bit there. Just turn that up there. And you can feather, you can tap, you can make all sorts of markings that you want. I think there might have been another little bit of dark down there, I think. And then this brown is here. If I turn that right round, I can kind of work that into there. And this is how I would do it with oils. It's how I work with everything. Everybody has different methods. I'm rather boring. Whatever I'm working with, that's the way I work, if that makes sense. So I have a thing that nobody believed me when I do my oil painting. It's the same consistency of single cream, double cream, as when I'm doing watercolors and acrylics. It's a little bit, I would say double cream. But when I'm working with watercolor, I can work with double cream or single cream. That's the consistency of my colors. I don't really daub on really thick. So this has actually broadened up me quite nicely. But I can blend with markers, which is something I cannot do, or pencils. I can blend with coloured pencils. I can't do that in reality because my hands won't work. And I love that. I'm sorry. I'm just a kid. I love it. So you see now I can take off every single one of those original marks. So there's now no original marks left. They're all my marks. And again, this makes it a little bit more your work as a colorist. It just makes it a little bit more interesting, if that's the right word. You know, you haven't just, like when we're children, you just fill it in. We haven't just filled it in. We've added to it with colour and markings, making marks. And I quite like that. I quite like that. And I think that's the difference between colouring in because you're bored and colouring in because you're actually really enjoying it. Sometimes you can colour in and you're not really bothered. Mandalas, I find, for that. You see that little thing will move out of the way when you're colouring there. And again, we could just do with a little bit of brown there. And I think that's the difference. Sometimes you see an image and you think, wow. I mean, I would never have thought of doing all this blending here for hours on end. Well, I just couldn't do this. This took about 4 hours. I could not do that with pencils. And yet I've watched other people do that, and it's wonderful. But I physically cannot do that. And again, I always say this is not a quick way of working. This is where my purples are up here. So I can always go back to this purple. And again, I think that's wonderful, because sometimes if you're doing watercolours or oils or acrylics and you go back a few weeks later or a week later, you can actually get your colour back. The colour is exactly there. That's where it is. So I've taken that highlight off. So when I turn her around now, and that is not as bright again, so I can think about going back again, putting a bit more highlight, and my colours are here, which I love. Oh, hi Suzanne. Sorry, my little laptop has died a death. So I don't actually know if I'm alive and kicking or not. Let me just see if I can bring myself up on here. This is going to be rather weird. Just watching myself on a little tablet. I think you get more adverts on laptops. So I do apologise. It's more hit and miss than most. So I started quite well, and I'm starting to make worse and worse videos. Worser. And I can't remember what I'm doing. So if I have a quick look at this, we'll see what Oh, just bear with me 2 seconds. I might have to take this. Hello? Right. Right, so bear with me 2 moments. And why does it kick you out all the time? I don't know, but it does. Has anybody got any questions? So if you've got any questions, pop them in caps. I can still see them, but I'm just going to have to try and change onto this. Oh my goodness me. It kicks me out every time. I think Ustream's having a spot of bother. I think Ustream's having a spot of bother, so I do apologise. Have a look and see what's going on. I'm just thinking I can maybe get chat better on here. So I'm going to go back in here, and again, I love this because I can now, if I think, well, actually, I would like another highlight on here. That's the pale one, but if I look down here, it was a warm highlight one that I wanted because of the purple. And I'm literally, it's not quite as bad as right, I've actually got some chat going, I think, hopefully. Oh, between us it might work. It was a warm highlight one. Right, there we go. So if anybody's got, I've hopefully got my chat going on my little which was almost dead because of course it normally is, isn't it? It's not charged when you need it to be charged. So you can go over these, and I don't know if you can, if you were scratching on kind of, this is what it normally sounds like when you're scratching on glass, but this is, oops, and I've just done that, which is rather silly, is because it has this screen protector. You can work on it with this, but this particular screen, it is like pencil. It's probably like maybe like a marker. It's very soft, but it's almost like a pencil. You can hear it scratching and drawing like you would a pencil, a very soft pencil, you know. It's but you can build up some really gorgeous highlights. So just let me put this in, see if it keeps me in. So apologies that you keep seeing bunny designs. It's just I'm trying to make sure that nobody's asking me any questions and I'm still live and I'm still doing. So I can see chat now on my little thing in front of me rather than squinting over there. Because it's going to be recorded, what will happen is my voice will keep disappearing, and then people won't like that. So I say I work on 1%, so it's very fine. But what you can do is really build some really, and these highlights are this light on this from this right side is hopefully going to, you don't have to say anything. All you've got to do is just make sure that these highlights are slightly lighter and slightly bigger. Right, so what I'm going to do now is, and I just want one on, just like something there, look, just, what I'm going to do is just push this, oops, no, I didn't mean to do that, come out. And then we want a really nice highlight on here. And if you were watching this and using pencil, pastel, anything, you could still do it in exactly the same way. The only thing is, if you've made a mistake, it's on there, but there really isn't any difference in the way that you would work. I've just done the blending slightly different, but I'm actually going to do a pastel. When I finish this, I'm going to do a pastel. There's pastels on here, and I'm going to do a pastel and hopefully blend exactly the same as you would with pastels. Again, there's going to be a little bit of a highlight there. And I mean, you can just carry on. It's just really easy to use this, and I love it. Have to say, I love it. And even my daughter, who was a bit cross because both my girls are tight Yorkshire lasses, even though they're only 16, and I mean, they like designer things, don't get me wrong, you know, she likes a Converse and her Doc Martens, but, you know, they're all kind of very frugal, shall we say, which is a bit of a shame for an 18 and a 16 to be worried about money. I don't like that, but they've got that from Daddy, so I suppose you can always say that they'll make good wives. They'd make good partners because they don't like spending money. Which is like, yeah, okay, his mummy does that. So they were rather upset that I made Daddy buy this for me, but she did say, because I'd got rid of all my art stuff, this is what's going to keep me sane. So you can literally just stroke this, and it's the same price as, you know, a full set of expensive markers. I saw on Facebook a few weeks ago somebody just bought a set of markers or pencils or something for over $400, and I thought, wow. But if it's your thing, it's your thing, that's fine. I hope my hands are going to get better because I've just bought those Derwent pastel pencils. I'm pretty sure they are. I'm hoping, you know, it's going to take me a few weeks to recover, but I'm hoping I can use them again. Otherwise, I'm going to be in deep trouble. It is. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Did you say Sarah? Susan, sorry. DRD mum. Yeah, I didn't want to give up because it keeps me sane. And I love the fact that people are watching me, because I am supposedly a trained artist, although you wouldn't probably know that. I did I've drawn for a lot of years, but I'm out of practice, so I'm just on a par with everybody else. I've had this tablet 3 weeks. Have I had this tablet 3 weeks? But I'm playing about with it. I've found a pen that I like. I'm going to try to do some more what I call proper art, my own art. But again, if I'm not well, this is wonderful. For people who can't pick a pencil up or a paintbrush, this is really, really wonderful. So I need a highlight on these jeans. This has had one rough coat scribbled on it. This has had about 4. And I changed my mind about the blue. I've made it more of a purpley blue, I think. I kind of like that. And a lot of it is scribble. I've scribbled it away so you get rid of a lot of the original colour. Not intentionally. You can draw layers, make layers, or always watch, especially for me. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm, again, making it up as I go along. I watched a lot of hours of this kind of art. And again, I can't make my mind up which blue I like. A lot of hours, because I wasn't sure it was going to work. It was, again, it was a lot of money to invest in. I think I like this purple blue, this one here. It was not an easy choice, but again, due to finding pastel pencils in a cupboard that I hadn't found used for many years, I found my love for pastels. And pastels are wonderful, but they have a bad name because they're a bit messy. But of course the Derwent pastels are wonderful. And if you really want to get to colours, to the natural pigment, you can't really get anywhere better. And that's why the end of the pastel pencils are almost as, damn it, the nearest you're going to get to the colour that you want, what you actually draw with. Did that make sense? I don't think it did. I do apologise. Because pastel pencils are made basically more of original colour pigment with a tiny gum attached to them, just to barely hold them together. There is a little bit of something barely holding them together. But the most expensive pastels are the ones with the least amount of, I'll call it gum, but it's some kind of binder. Now, gum arabic is what they use to make watercolours. So you have a pigment powder, and then you have a gum arabic. And depending on what quality of watercolours you get, is on how much pigment you have. It's a bit like a strong coffee and a blended coffee. You know, Blue Mountain coffee, I used to buy my ex-husband 2 ounces every Christmas, because it was something like, I think it's about 26 quid now. It used to be about £8. So I used to buy him 2 ounces, so he would have, 4 ounces, quarter of a bag, of extremely nice coffee, just for Christmas, because we couldn't afford it any other time, but that was one of his prezzies. And Blue Mountain coffee is very expensive because it's very good. Whereas cheaper coffees, it's still coffee, but it has some other things mixed in with it. And that's the same with pencils and pigments. I've lost a little bit of that sword there, so I'm actually going to take that off. I'm going to take that off, I think. So if we go back to how she's originally, you can see that colour building up there. Oh, thank you, DRD, Mom. Yes, thank you. I'm quite surprised you can colour in, actually, but the Bennett Klein books are all digital. I didn't realise this. I've bought them all in the physical, as in a book. But all Bennett Kleins you can buy digitally. So that means that they're going to be a better quality. If you look at mine, they're a bit pinky and you can tell the book's folded. But obviously those will go in there crisp and lovely, and there will be, you can then do all sorts with them. You can turn them into canvases and print them out and have them on your wall. You can do whatever you want if you do it digitally. And I quite like that idea. I still like my pastels. My daughter was very pleased. I don't know why she didn't tell me she needed them, but she actually did need some some acrylics and watercolours. So actually it worked out quite well. She got all my acrylics and watercolours. And she will eventually have my pastels. I think I always try not to talk about arthritis and things, but you know, there are a lot of people out there colouring and doing art for people who are able-bodied, and I want to kind of tell people that, you know, you don't have to sit there and wish your time away. If you were creative before, it's very therapeutic to do this, whether it's stress or whether it's physical. And my cousin actually did tell me in hospital a few months ago that they've proven that doing art does numb some of the synapses for pain. So they've proved that it does actually work a little bit. And as you can see, I'm just scratching and scribbling. But it still takes hours, you know. I mean, I could do it a quicker way. I could do it faster. I could use a bigger pen. This is how I probably would like to do it with traditional pens and blending. But I'm just not able to do that. Let me get some of that nice darker blue in there, I think. I have one down there and I liked it. It's a darker blue, but it's a bluey purple. This one, I think it's this one. So again, what I would say is this is the proper blue colour of the jeans. But I like the pale purple highlight. So I can start introducing the darker colour. And I'm actually going to, what I do is I get confused. So I'm going to tap. So I've created that blue because I know that's the one I want. And I'm going to go to that one, because this was the second one that I was using. Yes, there. So I'm going to tap. So I've got that. And then I'm going to go to the pale one, which I don't know if that was it. Was that the one I was using? Yep, I'm going to tap on that one. And I actually like that one, which is a little bit lighter. So I've now got my 4 blues here. That's all I need. I can probably find a darker purple if I want. If I want to make a darker one, I can. If I click on the darkest here, I know dark here, deep in here, is going to be another one. And if I just put that in there, it's actually going to be mixed in with it. And that's how you can build that up. Did that make sense? Does that make sense? I don't wanted the jeans to go that way, but maybe the material goes that way, I'm not sure. So again, and I'm actually building colour up. Some places I've got 6 or 7 layers. I'm going to probably set those books up, I think. But I'm trying to find some different artwork, pens and critter, a different software, so I can use traditional oils and build up proper kind of work. So again, I love the fact that if you're working, it just disappears. And then we can take that back down to its darkest colour here. And you can tap this little spot here to completely get rid of it if you want. I mean, what I should do actually is just move the silly thing over there, really. That's what I should do. And again, keep remembering to have it comfortable. It's got to be comfy. And it's always nice to kind of stay in the same direction. So we know that that's going to be a blue. Now it's a bit blurred, but we know that's going to be blue down there. It's going to be the darkest. I did put some dark under there, which I quite liked. And then I can just tap on that one. And that's going to make such a difference. So when I turn that round and I zoom out, that's going to make a difference? In fact, actually, that should be brown. It's nothing. Oh no, I don't know. Is it a jeans? No, I think that should be brown. I don't know. If anybody else has got any questions, I'm just going to carry on doing this for a little while because I want to get this finished because I'm desperate to start something else. I've scanned in some daydreams. I've scanned in quite a lot of some Harry Potters. I've started a Harry Potter one with the books, and the Colleen Thompson. I scanned a couple of those in, which again I really would like to do, but at the moment the book is a bit difficult to use. Oh, excuse me. So again, you know, I can now take the middle colour and blend across. So this is very much what you would do with oils. You put a dark and a light and a set colour in the middle, a mid-tone all over. This is how I do it. Then with a highlight at one side and a shadow at the other, and then I use the mid-tone again to blend again. And then you want to put a paler highlight where you would need it, and then again you go back and blend. And this is just how you would do traditional painting, except for until eventually your blend disappears, which is like almost here. And that's only by going over. It's no magic button. It's just a number 1.1% of a pencil, and it possibly have. Oh, there's a paler one there. You see, this shows you where it is, so you can actually tap up here and add, and that's going to give me an even paler highlight. So I can put a paler highlight on if I want, or probably here. This is going to be a paler highlight because the light's going to hit it. But it's not going to be everywhere, it's just going to be on the top crease. So when I turn that round now, you really know that that is a crease pocket. Well, hopefully you do. And again, I can go in there and accentuate that. Apologies for the slurred words. I have not been drinking. But unfortunately some medications make me, and I've kind of must have gone over that buckle there, so I'm just going to put that blue there. And then I can't remember this colour. I think it was the deep purple. It was metallic. I know it was metallic. Oops, sorry. It just if you look now under here, I've drawn now on here, so I've got to remember to take this off. Otherwise I will forget. So I'm going to take metallic back up, and I love this for the studs. It was really good, but I think I've just gone over this here, and I don't like that, so I'm going to do a paler one, paler purple, that one. So if you're very quick, and then I just have a little bit of a issue on here. I've mended that one now, and I think that's leather. Sometimes you just have to have a bit of a thing. I might actually make that plastic. That's, and there's something wonderful about this. If you look at this, oh, I seem to have disappeared. Disappeared on the laptop, so hopefully it won't go everywhere else. The tablet is a Ugee, and I did have the little bit of paper somewhere, in case somebody asked me. It's a Ugee, and I always forget which one it is. Just bear with me 2 seconds. I had it near just in case somebody asked me. Oh, It's an interactive pen display. It's an HK1560 manual. But I did watch, again, a lot of YouTube videos because it was a lot of money for me. I mean, buying the pencils took every penny. Every penny I had. But I think hubby realised that, you know, and everybody gave me money towards it, because it's a big thing to lose your creative kind of progression, and it was a big thing for me. But if I lift this up, you'll see it actually stands completely vertical, and there is a rubberized stand. I hope you can see this. Now, you could before, so if I slide that forward, this is the only one I found that had it. And again, I watched YouTube videos and the best drawing tablets and and I wanted a Wacom, sorry, that was Alfie. I wanted a Wacom, oh, I forgot what it's called. And it's basically, you draw on a pad and you look at the screen. You don't draw on the screen, you draw here and it appears here. But we have this thing of tapping your belly and rubbing your head at the same time. And I thought, I don't really want to do that. I actually like putting a mark down and seeing it as it is, not looking up somewhere else and doing it. My coordination's not that good. And again, you know, the Cintiqs are $800 to $3,000, completely out of my range. So, and again, it didn't actually have a stand at the back. So I looked at the pros and cons. I looked at would I use it? Am I going to just buy it and shove it in the, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't use it. And then I watched a young lady use this, and I thought, I could use this. It's not the top of the range, but it was an up-and-coming Ugee make. I looked at things, people have had this out for a couple of years, maybe, I think, or maybe at least a year. So I knew the reviews on it. There was no kind of, oh, it's going to drop to bits in a minute. So we know that the Wacoms are top of the range, but there are also others up and coming. And I found that this had everything I needed. And it means this is the 15.5 inch. There is a 21.5 inch, which is the 2150, I think it's called. And that one is bigger, and it's about £80 more. This one I think was 350, which, if you say it quickly, it's not a lot. You then need artwork, but I'm using a free Artrage at the moment. I'm going through all the different ones before I buy one. Coral Painter does lots of other things, but Gritter's pretty wonderful. My little dog, I think I did Alfie. And that was quite scary because I've not drawn for a long time, and I've never drawn on a tablet, as in making marks and then making it smaller until I normally do quite a detailed drawing first. So I found that there was another site for it for about £80 less, £260. But it came from either China or Japan, and forgive me because I can't remember. But it was about 6 weeks, and there was a review that it was kind of maybe not an established site, shall we say. So when I looked on Amazon UK, and I could have it tomorrow, in fact, I think I ordered it about 6 o'clock and it arrived at 10:30 the next morning. I thought that was pretty awesome. And it was a safe, you know, Amazon UK is pretty safe. So and it was a big thing to come damaged or whatever. So again, that's why I paid the extra. But it doesn't have any software with it. But there are free software out there. And again, I watched lots of YouTube videos before I decided to download things. So I have Critter, which is free. There's another one called Sai Tools, which SAI, which is for graphics, and I actually quite like that. I think I did Alfie in that. And then there's Artrage, which is about £50. So there's some good things out there without breaking the bank. Now, of course, Coral Painter 17 is another £350, or £399, I think. So I'd love that, but you know, that's definitely not in my price range. So this is for it. I can use it for colouring in. You can also, if you are severely disabled, and I can actually move it up and down, which I can't do with this hand, but I can definitely do it with this hand, and this hand isn't that good. It's a little lever, which is brilliant. There's no screws or faffing or turning the thing round. What you also can use this for, instead of using a mouse and a keyboard, you can use this. So it makes any laptop or computer into a touch screen with your pens. And again, very childish. I found, put somewhere now, my little pen. I didn't put it in the pot. I supposed to do. Put it in the pot. I didn't. It's behind there, I think. And it's quite sturdy, is this one as well. So again, there's lots of things. It has a pen stand, which looks like a traditional ink stand. So that was quite good. You get 2 pens and 2 chargers, and you get 8 nibs in this handy little pot. So there were lots of little things that made it easy for me, but there are a lot out there. It's just this one was it was the best one in this price range, I thought. Obviously 2017 they're bringing out lots of other things. I can't do it with that hand actually. So, and you can change positions in this one. Even the Cintiq, you don't have a stand with it, and you're paying all that money. So, and the other thing is I drop things. I'm not very good with my hands. So this seemed to be the best thing for me. I did actually a little video about it last week when I got it. So there is more in depth about why I bought it and how I looked at it. Oh, hello Bookworm. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Bit of a slow chat because I'm watching chat on my on my little thing here, because my screen actually looks like this, so I have no idea what's happening. So I do hope the sound's okay, and I do hope everything else is okay. And I've just dropped the pen somewhere. So Alfie's been a good boy, and all his fur's grown back and he's now all foofy again. And apologies, but unfortunately what isn't near me now will not get near me. I've lost the pen. Oopsie. So what I've managed to do, and I'm going to have to just double check to see if I'm actually back in kind of... So I was going to put some makeup on and be brave and have my little head down here. Oh, here somewhere. So you could actually talk to me with my headset, but my headset's playing up. So that's for YouTube Live. There'll be a little face of me here nattering, hopefully. And I've completely lost the pen. But what I did do is, because I don't need all these beautiful, gorgeous leather things that I've picked up along the way, I now have other things. So what you get with this little tablet very quickly is you get the glove, which is obviously universal. It would be that way, and that's to stop any natural oils getting on your screen. Now mine actually is quite good. I think Cintiqs and others, you can touch them, and whatever you touch you will make a mark. If you are in this mode of drawing, you draw with your finger. This won't do that. And I love that about it. It did have a lot of good things. So there's 2 pens and there's 2 chargers. So although I've just now lost my pen, I've got another one. So I don't normally use the glove. You can do. This is this comes with it as well, so you could put your hand on this. This is for cleaning your screen. So I've got this little pouch which holds everything in it. If I go away, oops, sorry, gosh, and if I don't want to lose a pen. So as I say, this one is the 1560 HK, which works for Windows 7, XP7 OS. It's for Macs as well. But have a look at lots of YouTube websites. I mean, I haven't even opened this because I watched a couple of unboxings. I knew just where to put everything. But there's basically a power. There's an HDMI, which goes to your laptop or your computer. HDMI to HDMI, so that's like your television for your screen. But this won't work on your television. This doesn't have a brain like some of the Cintiqs, the expensive ones. This isn't a tablet. This is just a monitor. It's basically the same as a laptop monitor, but it's touch sensitive with a pen, not with your fingers, just with this particular pen. And then it has a USB to USB, and I think the USB is sound, and the other one is the other things. But that's how I understand it. But and then you have a power source. So again, I actually thought it got its power from the laptop and I could use it in the car. I can't, but it's not a big deal. It's not too much of a big deal for me. It means that I can take this away. It sits perfectly on a lap tray, and it means that I can even sit on the wheelchair with the lap tray and I can use it. And the laptop can be on a little side table. So it's perfect for travel. I found a padded pillowcase it will go in, just to give it extra protection. And then I've got a large bag. And it will actually go in my laptop bag with the laptop. So everything is and that's all I need, instead of, you know, all these tools that I can no longer use. So again, a bit of a sad girl, but I love the fact that it had its own little pot and it sat on its own little pot, so it's safe and you don't lose it. It's only because I was probably gesticulating that, but unfortunately everything that's on the floor, anything that's on the floor, it's got to stay on the floor. I'm not particularly well at the moment, so this is why I've gone back to this. I did try earlier to use my pastel pencils, and I was testing the laptops as well, because the laptops have decided that if the sound's good, the pixels are bad, and if the pixels are bad, there's a big fan and it wants to blow for England. So it's very strange, it's just disappeared. It'll be about somewhere, as long as I pick it up before Alfie chews it. And again, tight Yorkshire lass. I love the fact that I think even, you know, a lot of other, I can't really say things because I forget, but a lot of other tablets, you get one pen or it's got a battery in. Now this doesn't have a battery, so it's a nice weight. If that had a battery on, it would be a bit thicker. So it just sits, and it's all rubberized here. It sits on your hand and you just kind of, it does not slide at all. So it's very, very easy to use. And again, you can colour for hours and it doesn't hurt your hands. And again, sometimes you want to sit for quite a long time. But of course it does all sorts of other things. You know, it makes, you can, the way it's under here, I tap here. Oh, I'm drawing now, sorry. Oh, because I'm not in that. When you've just got your laptop, you can actually just write, and it will take everything and make it into language. So I really like playing with this. I can't believe I just put that pen somewhere. I've probably put it somewhere completely so safe. I can't find it. Let me just lift that up there a little bit. There are a lot of other black chunky things, as in pens on here, so it's probably why I just can't put my hand on it. And I haven't put my pencils away either. Oh, it's there. I knew it was looking at me. It was looking at me. I put it just there. So you get 2 pens. There's 2 buttons, and they're a little bit kind of flimsy. But that means that the least pressure at all, even I can do that with my thumb. And my thumb hurts if I move it. So even I can use it. So I kind of just use this. And you can set the buttons to back or forth. But I have this up here. And you can get rid of this if you want. You can get rid of everything. But I just have a screen. But I actually quite like this. So that's my back button. So what I thought I would do, as I say, I've kind of, if I, and again, some taps and you're back to normal. Back. And I've got the front button, so if I tap the button, touch down, I can move things about. So I have put a dark purple through all the head. I've put a very pale white, off-white, all over everywhere, and then blended everything else. I did think I might blend some more of that out, but I quite like it. She's kind of grown on me a bit. Again, she could probably have a little bit of a highlight on the hair, but that's fine. Really enjoyed doing these leather straps. And then with the metallic, the purple metallic, oh, that's what I was going to show. I think I'm on metallic. Yeah, I've put it to metallic, 100% metallic. And you can do that with any colour. You just make it metallic. And what that does is you can, I've learned just to do this. And I have a stud. I have a metallic stud. Isn't that wonderful? And that's how I did the little studs. And I thought, I quite like that. So I'm going to leave them. And I think I've missed, there's so much buckles and things here. I wonder if that actually was down here. So let's have a look. That looks like that should be a buckle, doesn't it? So we think we can just darken that down there a bit. Yeah, I think we'll just do that. It looks okay. I decided to do the sword metallic as well, but the other thing I've decided, I might just kind of do this, I think, metallic. I'm not sure what it is, but I think we might just have a little bit of metallic going on. So if you're very quick and you only do 1 or 2 strokes, whoops, you see I didn't like that one, you can, no, you've got to hold, the other thing is this pen is also tilt as well. It's not quite as tilted as the Cintiq, but you can pick it up. So I actually quite like that. And again, you can get some really dark purples in there. So I like that. So if I take that back now, that looks quite nice. Got a bit of work to do here because I've only got a couple of layers where I've normally got about 6. But you can use this deep dark purple for your really dark shadows, and that pulls it together. So I'll take the metallic off that. And I normally work at 300. I like 300. It's just enough. If you have a really dark, you can build this really dark purple up. Almost like you would, you know, any kind of, I use it obviously nearly like an oil painting. And then I love working like I always do with my books, turn them round so that if you're constantly doing this, your hand is going to ache a lot quicker. If you get the more natural curve, and turn the page for your natural curve in whatever medium you're using, you will be able to colour and paint for a lot longer. when you're doing your cross hatchings, you know, you don't want to be doing this. Just do your cross hatchings and then turn the page and do your cross hatchings. It's always easier. I'm not sure what this is. I think that's the brown. So again, I can go back up to here and tap and just give that a little bit of definition. So I've been working on the jeans. Let's just go back and see how well they look. So again, that's looking a little bit better, and that's just scratched a colour in. But you could leave it like that. It looks quite good. It depends on how much you want to work on it. I think this has taken me about 6 hours. I think I've done maybe 8 hours, 4 videos. This took, I think the hair and the head took me 2 hours. It was a 2-hour video, and it wasn't very good, but it's how I wanted to work. So I'm going to try and do a voiceover to see if I can rectify it. And then this took a good couple of hours as well, and the sleeves. And if I zoom in at the hand, I think I could possibly, you see, work over that. That one's working over. I must have forgotten that. I made a metallic. That was very quick. You see, you could do it all metallic. I originally was going to do it in a very dark metallic, kind of shiny leather PVC suit. You know, that would have looked even that futuristic. But I decided started working with the leather and decided I'd like it. So this one's completely re-blending as well. So the other thing is you can just tap and save. So she's saved now. So if I come out of this one, we can have a look at, there's the frog lady. Love the frog lady. Again, it took hours to do her wings because I completely recolored them so many times, and her legs. And up here are all the colours that I used. So I can go back and work in here a bit more. If I work at 300, and go back in and work a bit more. And I'm still in paint mode. So I've put some green under there so I can take that. Because under there I've been using dark purples. Again, for this, the dark purple look quite nice. I find myself scribbling, actually, I have to say. Because you want to just do that. You just want to build up all this colour. But what I'll show, so I can save that if I want. And save, and then we can I can import all. I was doing the lady with the straw hat, but I want to do something completely different. So if I look on here, I've scanned in quite a lot of other things as well. And let me have a look. You see, you could work. Oh, wait a minute, let me come out of there then. I don't know why is it doing that. Oops. Yes, this is demonstration one. So again, I work at 300, and you could build up. So I might have a go. Let me have a look at this. Let me just go back. To the Badger Girl. I'll have to come out, won't I? That's the only problem, is actually changing. time is it? How are we doing for time? Oh, I think Dee Dee will be on, so Dee Dee will be on soon, I think. It's Monday today, isn't it? So I'm going to play with that one. I'll come out of that one. Just come out. It won't let me, I don't think it'll just let me. So I've been an hour and 14 minutes, sorry about this. So it's actually going to record this, so I'm going to stop the recording. That's what I need to do. So thanks for watching.